of office. And there is nothing more disgraceful in this country than to sell your oath of office. I'm going to give you 2 examples. I could give you 12. I'll give you 2. There's a bank, a Swiss bank known as UBS. UBS had a long-term dispute with the IRS over giving up the identities of Americans who the IRS believe were evading taxes, were hiding money in Switzerland. They wanted, if my memory serves me correctly, they wanted something like 50,000 identities. So UBS figured out the good old pay-for-play system that worked in Arkansas and worked when they were in the White House, and they made a $60,000 contribution to the Clinton Foundation. That was like a little taste for the crooked Clintons. 60,000 will get their interest. I don't know, they may take 10, I have no idea. I'm not saying they're sophisticated crooks. I mean, they started off in Arkansas probably for, 20 grand, 50 grand, 30 grand. 60 grand for the foundation was okay. Then UBS figures maybe a little more is needed. So they give $600,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Now we're starting to talk like money. Hillary makes a special trip to Geneva. She meets with the IRS and she says, basically, go easy on UBS. The IRS employee who she tried to strong-arm said this was very unusual. He had never had a person reach out to him and do this from the State Department before, much less the Secretary of State of the United States. UBS now was real happy. They gave Bill a $1.5 million speaking fee for one speech. The highest he had ever received up until then was $300,000. $1.5 million speaking fee, and you're going to tell me it wasn't connected with her interceding with IRS for the UBS? If you could convince me of that, I'm not a New Yorker, and you could sell me the Brooklyn Bridge. And I'm not done yet. And then a $30 million loan to the Clinton Foundation, and I'm not done yet. The IRS only got 4,000 of the 54,000 identities they wanted. That is called conflict of interest. That's called bribery. That's called being crooked. That is called disgracefully selling one of the oldest and most distinguished offices in the United States, the first cabinet member. That's selling the office of Secretary of State. And you know Hillary Clinton did it. And you know the liberal press protects her against it because they protect her against anything and everything. Just watch the way Lester Holt conducted that interview the other night. Neutral questions to Hillary, loaded questions to Donald Trump. I know a lot about loaded questions. I used to do it when I was a prosecutor. He asked Donald Trump questions as if he was prosecuting him. And then he followed up. Not only that, he followed up and he was wrong on stop and frisk. Totally wrong. Completely ignorant of Terry against the United States. Decided in 1968, stop and frisk is constitutional. Donald Trump's description was totally correct. Hillary Clinton saying that the court found stop and frisk to be unconstitutional was wrong. And worst of all, Lester Holt backed her up. What's he, her campaign manager or a journalist? You want to know why we're upset about the unfairness in this election? Just go back and watch the way Holt questioned Donald Trump in comparison to the way he, you know what he asked her about the emails? How about the emails? Not, how about the fact, Mrs. Clinton, that you exposed more confidential to top secret information than anyone ever in the history of this country that we know of? That you know very well that the Chinese are hacking us and the Russians are hacking us and the Iranians are hacking us and hackers are hacking us, and you exposed this information? And then you destroyed 30, 40,000 emails? And then you destroyed emails after you got a subpoena to produce them? And then you didn't just destroy them, you went out and you got a bleach, an acid that costs a lot of money, that only the most sophisticated criminals even know about. I happen to do cybersecurity investigations for a living. A lot of cyber crooks don't even know about this, but this one knew about bleach bit, and he used the bleach bit to get rid of what was ever on those servers. And then she had 13 cell phones. 13. Somehow, we can't find them. It isn't that she doesn't want us to see what's on them. It's just they disappeared. Well, a couple of them actually were hammered into little pieces. Bam, bam, bam. That's what criminals do, not people who want to be president of the United States. Now, I am not presently the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York or the Attorney General of the United States. And Jim, but I have to tell you, I cannot understand why she's not being prosecuted. It has to be, we have a situation where the Clintons are too big to be prosecuted, too important. I'm going to give you another one. When she was interviewed by the FBI asked her if, when she was reading the secret documents, did she notice that at the beginning of a lot of the paragraphs there was a parenthesis with a C. And I think she probably said yes, and the agent asked her, did you know that that meant confidential? And she said, no, I thought it was alphabetical order. Now, the agent didn't go on, which will give you a sense of how rushed and how incompetent this investigation was, because if this were one of my assistant U.S. attorneys or FBI agents, he'd have been fired if he didn't ask the next question. Only an idiot can't figure out the next question. Did you see an A? See a B? How about an X or a Y? Or how come you only saw C's, Hillary? And you know you were given training. I know you don't remember that you were, but I know, because I had top security clearance, you get anywhere from a 2 to 4 hour course from the CIA as to what all this means. But she doesn't seem to remember that. Kind of dangerous if we have a president who can't remember her top security briefing. Kind of dangerous if we have a president that doesn't know that C means confidential. Because if she doesn't know C, or she says she doesn't know C is confidential, there are only one or two conclusions you can possibly come to. She is too stupid to be president. We don't want a stupid president. Or, I don't mean to insult her, because she really isn't stupid, even though she failed the bar exam the first time. I always like to get that in there. But she really isn't stupid.